Hi everyone. As you may have heard, Mango Wodzak recently passed away. Rest in peace. Hopefully he's in fruit paradise now. I actually used him in Epidemic of Malnourishment, the very first one.
I fully disagree with the food pyramid. I think that there's a
I was trying to point out that the food pyramid is plant-based, basically vegan since 2005.
lot of propaganda behind the creation of that pyramid. If you eat only fruit,
Right, which never made any sense. Then you should be eating the opposite of the food pyramid, raw meat.
you don't experience anywhere near as much sickness as you would do if you're eating a standard diet. A lot of people would look at me and think I'm skinny, maybe anorexic, but that's not true at all. I mean, I eat as much as I need to. My energy levels aren't low.
I do believe that he ate a lot. It's just that you can't survive off of sugar and fiber and some minerals, which is what fruit gives you. It's very severe malnutrition.
They're good. My mind is clear, it's sharp. I lost some teeth.
And just ends it with, I lost some teeth. Actually, some fruitarians believe that they detox their teeth. Anyway, let's get to his last video, which was posted on his channel. We'll see what he promoted at the end of his life.
Hi everybody.
Hello everyone.
We are going to talk about the issue.
That was his wife. Do I need to say anything? I don't know how old she is, but it's bad. It's some of the worst, most severe malnutrition I have ever seen.
Of sugar in fruit, because even though I believe we've talked about this before, some people are still concerned that there's too much sugar in fruit and it's not good for you and it can lead to obesity or diabetes or whatever else they think that too much sugar will lead to.
As far as I saw, he died from atherosclerosis. High triglycerides? Maybe. That's what I said to Fully Raw Christina many years ago, because she went to a doctor and the doctor said, your heart attack proof because you have low cholesterol or whatever. But then her triglycerides were super high, which is a pretty good indicator of atherosclerosis and possible heart disease. He will probably not talk about that, but all of these diseases, diabetes and everything is linked to it anyway, because the causes are very similar.
But that's what we're going to talk about today, because frankly, there's a lot of misconceptions about fruit and about the role that sugar plays, and we're just going to talk about.
Also interesting, the cut, misconceptions about fruit. Like, why would you need the cut? Misconceptions? And then was there a long pause? You see what I'm saying? Because I don't think that they could really properly think anymore at the end. No disrespect to this couple. I would never talk bad about somebody who has passed away, but it is what it is.
About that just a little bit today. I'm going to state the obvious. You're never ever going to find an obese fruitarian. They just don't exist. We don't put up.
That is very true. Same with raw meat eaters, except that they will be healthy and have a healthy body weight. But yes, you cannot survive off of sugar and water, so you eat yourself, your muscles, your fat. That's why you look the way you look. All fruitarians look the same, because it's severe malnutrition.
So forget the idea that too much fruit can make you fat. It's complete and utter nonsense. It's not going to happen. The only possible fruitarians who might be overweight are ones that are starting off overweight and they're losing weight slowly. If they've been doing it for a long time, if they're steady with what they're doing, they're not going to be overweight. They're going to be slim. Fruitarians are slim. We're all slim. There's no exceptions. You can't be a fat fruitarian. The other thing is diabetes. Now people, it's difficult for them to understand this, but diabetes is not caused by eating fruit. That's simply not the truth. If diabetes is caused by eating too much fat, predominantly eating a lot of...
Too much fat? That's funny. It is caused by sugar, and actually in German, It's literally called sugar, Zucker. When you have diabetes, people say, ich habe Zucker, I have sugar. Because everybody always understood that sugar is the cause, because a high carb diet doesn't exist in nature. Maybe if you find a fruit tree or honey in the moment, yeah, but you don't eat it every day. Most people today eat a high carb diet. Naturally, it's supposed to be at the most 20% of your calories should be carbs, but not even really that. Most of the time, something more around 10. Not zero carb also, that's also weird and abnormal.
Animal-based products, animal flesh, animal secretions, processed foods, processed oil.
And he, in the end, died believing this. Yeah. And they just look at each other and they just see the same, but they are both living in a different reality, not seeing what's happening to them. Anybody who's going to look at them from the outside of fruitarianism, the ones who are into it, maybe delusional enough to believe that they look healthy, is going to look at them and see that they are unhealthy. You can't promote your lifestyle by looking unhealthy. A lifestyle that's about health, which I guess it was at least partly. I guess it was also about saving the earth or something.
Grains, all these kind of things, acidic forming, they're going to slowly clog up.
Is he about to say clog our arteries? We'll see. He was also equating seed oils and grains to meat, animal products. That's the problem. If they only would have eaten raw meat and raw animal secretions, it would have been fine. Okay, let's hear what he was about to say.
The arteries.
Oh my god, he really said it in his very last video. Oof. Wow. That's really the irony of the century here. The exhaustion is just written on his face. You just had to look at the state of the body to know what's going on inside.
And they're going to cause problems with sugar absorption in the body. This is the truth. And whoever is trying to put the blame on fruit, it's complete and utter nonsense. You're not going to have issues.
Also, the way she looks, I gotta say he looks better than Darko Velchuk. Really, he does. But she looks insanely bad. The eyes are just completely inside already. All collagen already long gone. What they were surviving on, really, I don't know. They probably just lay all day. I think that they are in a tropical climate because of the cold that they feel. They don't produce any body heat. That's typical with fruitarians. But I think she also has, I guess, a long dress on or a blanket, even in a tropical climate. So that's how cold they are. They probably need it even in 30 plus degrees.
With something like diabetes, if you're a fruitarian. Once more, I said, you're not going to find a fruitarian with diabetes. They don't exist, just like fat fruitarians don't exist. The only ones that would exist are the ones that have diabetes.
It would have been crazy if he would have said there's no fruitarians who had a heart attack.
Already, and they're trying to get rid of diabetes, and it will work. If you stay on fruit for long enough, you won't have diabetes. Of course, type 1 diabetes is a different story to type 2.
So when he asked her what happened, she looked so good, she said, well, she ate only fruit. And he said, you can't do that, that's very bad for you. You're going to get really sick. You're feeling good now, but after a while you get really sick. He so scared her that she stopped eating fruit for a while. And then she told him that on the phone. And I said, Mom, you know, I eat fruit for many years. You know that. And so, am I fat or skinny? Yeah, how will you consider my
You're emaciated by definition, yeah.
body size? And she started laughing because she could see it didn't make sense. The doctor tell her something.
She was the healthiest that she'd been for decades when after she left here. And for her to go home and a doctor to tell her, oh, what you're doing is really dangerous, when before she was on the brink of dying almost when she got here. She could
Yes,
hardly
she
move.
was.
I found out about this because of a comment that somebody left. He linked the vegan deterioration video about it.
This was the post from today from Pivetta, his wife or partner. She wrote, I could not see the option for posting on Mango's page, so it is here, our Facebook friends. My heart is broken. My sweet fruitarian Mango is not longer with us. He was gone within just 2 days, since he felt suddenly very sick. His clogged arteries stopped his heart. On, March 25th, he is deeply missed by many for his loving, kind heart and devotion.
Really, he seemed like an alright guy. It doesn't really help you in the end when you're misinformed. But if he would have eaten properly, yeah, woulda, coulda, shoulda, whatever. Yeah, it is what it is now.
He left behind many broken hearts in his books and a lot of fruit trees. And when I'm able, I will continue our YouTube channel. Rest in peace, my sweetheart.
And she still doesn't understand what's going on. How high were his triglycerides? The liver was just trying to deal with the fructose nonstop, trying to create fat out of it, trying to survive. Then in the end, he didn't die from liver failure, but because of the arteries. There's an indirect connection.
Love and hugs to you all. And there are some comments here. This person wrote, sorry to hear, sincere condolences. Maybe too early to ask questions, but when I read clogged arteries, I couldn't conceive how that could happen on such a clean diet I presume he had. Best regards. And Kavesha wrote back, thank you, Louis. Yes, this event will bring up a lot of questions. I will answer them on future YouTube videos. Yes, it took us all by a big surprise. And someone wrote, honestly, that is too big surprise. Someone wrote, we do a lot of irreversible damage to our bodies throughout our lives, and genetics curse us as well.
Nah, come on, man. Just don't bring genetics into this. There's nothing to do with genetics. There are no genetics which clog up your arteries or make you more prone to plaque in your arteries. That doesn't exist. Genetics themselves create a healthy human being. You cannot clog your arteries genetically. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
This person wrote, there is no magic bullet, but he probably gained many years for eating this way. Aging is no joke. Each day is a blessing, one day at a time. There but for the grace of God go I. Okay. Clogged arteries jumped out at me too. Thank you for asking. The body makes cholesterol from fat, including the so-called healthy fats. Too much cholesterol clogs arteries. Also, if he was deficient in iodine...
You probably know that this is not true, but cholesterol actually prevents it because cholesterol is an antioxidant which fights the plaque in the arteries. It tries to get it out.
Iodine, selenium, and or zinc.
Every cell of your body is made out of cholesterol. It protects it. It's essential for your life. It doesn't clog anything.
That could cause a sluggish thyroid, which would affect his body's ability to metabolize fat. Australian soils are deficient in iodine and selenium. We need to eat seaweed in Brazil.
They're gonna think of anything, man. Anything. Just, yeah, seaweed and Brazil nuts. That was the problem.
Nuts and pepitas for supplements to have a healthy thyroid function living in Australia. Also, about 1 in every 250 to 300 people can have high cholesterol due to genetics. Well, we don't know his cholesterol numbers, but I do understand the environment that we're in over here on this post, on this page, which is where you're never going to...
Oftentimes, and I think most of the time, people will have low cholesterol when they will have a heart attack. Because if you have higher cholesterol, also, this is just a correlation, but statistically, you actually live longer. There's also some guys, raw vegans, who try to explain what happened.
I think 11 years he was only eating fruits and no vegetables, no nuts and seeds, no supplements, didn't get his blood work checked or anything like that.
Well, yeah, which you shouldn't if you would be eating naturally. Who needs any of this? You eat natural food like humans in nature, like any animal, and you just live your life. Why would you need supplements if you're eating what you're naturally supposed to?
And what I'm going to say is it's not about the raw diet. It's not about the raw diet. The body is pretty much a science experiment. With all technology and everything we have, there's still so many unknowns. And new discoveries are continuing to happen. The body is an ongoing experiment of how it reacts and what it does and what we do and everything else. We have to be investigators for ourselves in our current situations, in our own lives, for where we're at. What's going to give us the longevity and also the highest quality while we're here. That's what we have to figure out. And a lot of people will use the information to investigate that situation of how they can obtain that by using double-blind studies. They're using science. They're using
Yeah, just some gibberish. Nobody even understands what you're saying. They just cannot admit that it could be possibly unhealthy. Because if you're part of a cult or some kind of diet religion, how can you admit that it could have been that if that's what your life is based on? So he would just blabber on forever. Oh, Duranrider also made a video.
Just to make a quick video regarding a friend of mine, Mango Wodzak. I learned today that he unfortunately passed away in far north Queensland. His partner mentioned that he had
North Queensland, yeah. It is very warm there. I think it's more subtropical than tropical. Maybe, I'm not sure. Whatever, it's warm.
some issues with his liver and some clogged arteries.
Liver also. I told you literally just now. I told you. That makes total sense. It has to be like that.
Many speculation out there now. I've known Mango since I think we first met was in 2006 in Thailand. We were on a Duran safari together, and we would catch up for a few days and then go away, and he would give me some great tips. I'd give him some tips, and I was always on his back though about drinking water. He just never ever seen him drink water. He would always be like, "You don't need to drink water." I'm like, "Dude, you need water."
Why would you? And he only ate fruits. Why would he need water then? Makes no sense. I've gone myself a year without drinking any whatsoever.
Yes, I think Mango was a super friendly guy, super chill guy, but I definitely saw declines in his health not drinking water. Especially in Thailand where it's so hot. And he lived, he moved to Australia, I think it was 2009, went to Sydney originally, and then he moved up to Mariba area, and he stayed with one of a friend's property. It's a very small group there. Everyone knows all of us. Everyone up there, and it's part of that far North Queensland community. And a lot of people, unfortunately, in that community.
I guess that he's just blaming him not drinking water. I mean, they will just blame anything.
And it's not a vegan thing, again, because if B12 deficiency was exclusive to vegans, then only vegans would have that. But there's 0 diseases, 0 conditions that only vegans get, okay?
People who eat plant-based or don't eat enough meat. Yes, you don't have to be vegan. You could eat plants and a little bit of pasteurized dairy, which basically has no B12 anymore because heat destroys it. But there are exclusive diseases, one of which is malnutrition, a deficiency in B12, for example, which is a disease technically. And that's, of course, not found in people who eat raw meat. That's impossible. So there are diseases which only vegans have, or people who eat plant-based, call it whatever you want. It's at the end of the day the same. It's malnutrition, and plants don't have over 15 micronutrients.
So what we do, though, is we have some purists out there who don't take any supplementation of B12.
Yeah, and why do you need that naturally? Why would you need supplements? How did people survive before?
And then they get into some problems because they've got orthorexia or whatever, and then people blame the vegan stuff for that.
Yeah, for sure, that's true. They do.
And it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's true. It is crazy. He really did seem like a nice guy. Maybe he was gullible, naive. Maybe he thought that he's helping the earth, the animals. As I showed, he equated animal foods to oils and grains, which he was also against, as if those are all unhealthy foods. But of course, grains are something that humans don't eat in nature at all. They have been cultivated. It was never part of our natural so-called diet. And seed oils anyway, all of these oils that we consume today. We never needed supplements before. No pills, no powders. We just ate natural food. It usually was raw animal foods that we consumed for the most part, up until maybe 100 years ago when people started pasteurizing milk, cooking food more and more. Religions brainwashed people to cook their food. They made you scared of blood. Horror movies did the rest. All kinds of media brainwashing, but that's how we always survived. No doctors, no supplements, no organic vegan stores, no stupid man-made diets, just purely an animal is born, the animal listens to its natural instinct, and he simply eats whatever he wants to eat. And of course the intuition also to understand what's going on in this life, but it was always just naturally part of you. It still is, but of course, but it's repressed at this point. That's how you get into man-made diets. Every vegan on earth knows that they want to eat raw meat and drink blood. That's why they're so obsessed with slaughterhouse footage. All the best to his wife. You could hope that she will wake up because of this, but it doesn't seem like it. Realistically, they went on for too long. He was a vegan for ages, supposedly. I guess decades. And raw vegan for over 10 years. That's not really biologically possible. There could be some exceptions to it. As you could see, he was extremely malnourished. One of the worst cases I have ever seen. And the woman also is. But to actually believe that somebody could go for that long on a raw vegan diet especially, he definitely did it for many years. That's possible because he was completely emaciated, really as bad as it gets. It was very clear how this is gonna end. Maybe somebody needs to go and wake up the woman. She's probably too far gone because mentally you're at the stage where you can't even think properly anymore. And for her to admit now that they were both wrong for over a decade already, it would be too hard. It's maybe even close to impossible at this point. Thanks for watching, guys.